We've journeyed from the stunning heights of Bilgewater to the grimy depths of Zaun in Arcane Season 1 and 2. And now, we know what's next. Arcane was an incredible ride that dove deep into the complex stories of Vi, Jinx, Jace, Victor, and Becca, and so many others. But with the conclusion of Arcane's second season, the big question echoing across the entire fandom is, where do we go from here? Riot Games has built an amazing foundation for our cinematic universe, and the rumor mill is churning. The most persistent whisper? A move away from animation into live action, and a plunge into the treacherous seas of Bilgewater.
That's how we do things in Bilgewater.
And what's crazy is that we now have confirmation of it, and even where it's being filmed. A brand new, potentially standalone live-action series exploring the pirate haven of Bilgewater. And something that may blow your mind is that in the book, The Art and Making of Arcane, we learn that in the original script, Jinx had a whole section where she goes to Bilgewater. Her pirate-looking aesthetic with regard to what she wears in the show is actually a remnant of that. I mean, look at those pants. Those are pirate pants. Her boots? Super piratey. Her shirt? Literally an X made out of rope. Now, I realize this video will pull in some Arcane fans who have no idea where or what Bilgewater even is, but I think I've been putting the Arcane fans down a little too much. The League of Legends fans seem to not know anything either. I really think it's just going to take the MMO for people to realize how great and vast Runeterra is. Bilgewater is located here on the map of Runeterra, just southeast of Piltover and Zaun, nestled away in the Blue Flame Isles archipelago. Bilgewater is a port city like no other, home to serpent hunters, dock gangs, and smugglers from across the known world. Here, fortunes are made and ambitions shattered in the blink of an eye. For those fleeing justice, debt, or persecution, Bilgewater can be a place of new beginnings, for no one on these twisted streets cares about your past. Even so, with each new dawn, careless travelers can always be found floating in the harbor, their purses empty and their throats slit. While incredibly dangerous, Bilgewater is ripe with opportunity, free from the shackles of formal government and trade regulation. If you have the coin, almost anything can be purchased here. From outlawed hex tech to the favor of local crime lords, Bilgewater is likely to remain one of the most colorful and well-connected places in Runeterra. Now that is straight from the official Riot Runeterra page for Bilgewater. And two things jump out to me. One, we may see some hex tech make an appearance. And two, Bilgewater can be a place of new beginnings. Who do we know is looking for a fresh start after the events of Arcane? I don't know, maybe the person who almost killed themselves to get away from it.
I'm tired of talking.
No!
Maybe the person who told their sister.
I'm always with you. Even when we're worlds apart. Always with you, sis.
The person who literally fakes her death. Watch the video on my channel if you don't believe me. Caitlyn knows it since she's holding the head of Jinx's wind-up monkey toy while looking at the literal ductwork where Jinx fell. Maybe the person was on this ship flying away at the end of Arcane with the words "The End" written in Jinx's handwriting. And maybe that ship is heading to Bilgewater. Wake up, people. And I do not want anyone to be disappointed with Bilgewater thinking it's going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean clone. The ocean surrounding Bilgewater is littered with sea monsters. There's a local tribe known as the Buhru people who worship Negacaburos, basically a kraken-looking spirit god. And oh yeah, they get raided by the Black Mist, which contains undead, monstrous horrors from the Shadow Isles every once in a while that steal the souls of those unlucky enough to get caught and drag them back to the Shadow Isles.
This time is known as the Harrowing. During the Harrowing, the spirits of the Shadow Isles go forth within the Black Mist. Preying on the living, feeding the darkness. There's no coming back once you're claimed by the Harrowing. You're cursed, condemned to haunt the Black Mist forevermore. Well, what were you expecting? There ain't no happy endings when the Harrowing for you. Right on cue. Prepare yourselves, friends. The harrowing is here.
For example, Hecarim, a centaur-looking guy, takes this sweet innocent little girl and now her soul is trapped within the black mist to wander for eternity.
Their souls beg for release.
Just imagine the backstabbing politics, the terrifying sea monsters, the black mist, the gritty reality of pirate life, all brought together with real actors and sets. But is this more than just fan hope? And why live action? Shouldn't they just stick to Fortitian animation? After all, they already found success and an audience. Let's sift through the rumors, look for any actual leaks, explore why this makes sense, and where a character like Jinx might surprisingly fit in. First off, why the shift to live action and why Bilgewater? After the monumental success of Arcane, Riot Games has proven there's a massive appetite for deep stories set in the Runeterra universe. Expanding into live action is a logical next step to broaden the audience and explore Runeterra in a different way. It also makes sense from a broader strategy perspective for Riot. They're clearly building a massive transmedia universe. And yes, for those wondering, the MMO is still confirmed to be chugging along in development. But let's look at another MMO for a moment, classic World of Warcraft. What happened prior to World of Warcraft's release in 2004 that many people say contributed heavily to its success? Well, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring came out in 2001, The Two Towers 2002, Return of the King 2003, and World of Warcraft 2004. I can guarantee you that everyone who made a Night Elf Hunter in classic World of Warcraft just wanted to be Legolas, and everyone who made a Dwarf Warrior, Gimli.
What's happening out there?
Shall I describe it to you? Or would you like me to find you a box?
And World of Warcraft Classic was hailed as the common man's MMO. After all, prior to Classic WoW, MMOs were considered only for sweaty neckbeards. World of Warcraft brought MMO to the casual audience. There are people who literally don't even play video games, they just play World of Warcraft. So there's a case to be made for using multiple media platforms to draw people into a universe so they could potentially play the game that explores that world, such as an MMO. Now, Arcane achieved phenomenal success, proving Runeterra's depth to a global audience, especially those who appreciate top-tier animation. But what about unlocking the segment that primarily consumes live-action media? Maybe they admired Arcane from afar, but didn't dive in because animation isn't their preferred format. I know that barrier is real. Take my wife, for instance. Despite my best efforts, Arcane's style didn't click for her. But pitching her a high-stakes live-action pirate drama set in Bilgewater, that suddenly sounds much more appealing, and could be the key to welcoming a whole new wave of Runeterra fans. And Bilgewater? It's made for a gritty high-stakes live-action adaptation, a stark contrast to the tech steampunk of Piltover and Zaun. Bilgewater is grounded in familiar pirate tropes but with unique Runeterran twists. The Harrowing, the Kraken Priestess Alawi leading the Buhru people, figures like Gangplank and Misfortune fighting for power, all while deep-sea monsters we know little to nothing about are hunted for profit and sport. It offers a truly distinct visual and narrative style compared to Arcane. And think about how brilliantly Arcane paced the story. It didn't immediately throw us into the deep end with, say, Warwick running around Zaun, Victor's transformation, or the magic of the Black Rose and Mel. Instead, it grounded us first in relatable human conflict and character drama. We got invested in the struggle of Zaun's downtrodden, the complex ambitions of Piltover's elite, and the stark, tragic differences between their worlds. That foundation was key. A live-action Bilgewater series could absolutely follow that successful blueprint. Imagine it not starting with the immediate, full-blown terror of Pike enacting his spectral vengeance, or a massive harrowing engulfing the docks. Instead, the core could be the intense political and personal power struggle between a ruthless Gangplank, holding the city in his ever-tightening grip, and a cunning, vengeance-driven Misfortune plotting her rise. Explore the lives of the captains, the crews, the dock workers, establish the laws, or lack thereof, in Bilgewater society. We would explore the slaughter docks, a place where every day locals wander through to see the horrors Bilgewater hunters have hauled up from the depths. The beasts are usually dead, usually. Once we're deeply invested in those characters and that precarious world, then introduce the more fantastical horrors like Pike, and the sea monsters who I have a theory are smarter than we are led to believe.
Used to call them monsters, but they changed my mind. Captains told me to kill fish. Fish told me to kill captains. Makes sense. My new bosses don't care about gold. Not sure whose revenge I'm getting. Don't care.
Now, it's important to note that while Riot Games oversees the IP, a live-action project would almost certainly involve different production companies and creative teams than Fortiche, the animation wizard behind Arcane. This wouldn't necessarily be Arcane Bilgewater, but potentially a new series title within the same universe of Runeterra. Okay, the crucial part. Are there any actual leaks or confirmations? As of today, despite the strong buzz in fan communities, there's still no official confirmation from Riot Games about a live-action Bilgewater series being actively in production. What we have is a confirmed meeting between Riot Games representatives and Vietnamese officials via a Facebook post that a project is in development, with filming rumored to begin in late 2025. According to the post, the Vietnamese Tourism Office, Vietnamese Minister of Culture, Sports and Tourism, recently met with representatives from Riot Games and a film production crew to discuss filming logistics for an ambitious project. The meeting, which the Vietnamese government publicly acknowledged through a Facebook post. Specifically, what it says is, Riot Games is surveying and planning to film a 9-episode TV series based on the League of Legends game and the online animation of the same name in Cat Bai Hai Phong later this year. The episode will be widely shown on platforms such as Netflix and HBO. And so, of course, the first thing I did was go to Google Maps and research Cat Bai. And geez, do you end up in some weird places when you just start clicking around Google Maps. But after a while, I found some great views in Cat Bai. And wow, does this place look like Bilgewater. So as long as the project does not get cancelled, we can expect a live-action Bilgewater film in our future. But this would be a huge undertaking, visually distinct from Arcane, but equally ambitious. It would demand significant visual effects, bringing sea monsters, Bilgewater's unique magical elements like Alawi's power or the effects of the Harrowings, and the sheer scale of the city to life would rely heavily on CGI. I would compare this to the One Piece live action that was in production for about 2 years. So with filming starting in late 2025, we could see this sometime in late 2027 or early 2028. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Connecting back to the world Arcane built. Even if this new series isn't called Arcane, we've already said Hextech may make an appearance in Bilgewater, but could we also see familiar characters cross over? Specifically, could Jinx appear in Bilgewater's story? As I stated earlier, the Jinx clothing in Arcane is a remnant of the story she had in the original script, where she journeyed to Bilgewater. And if we do see Jinx in Bilgewater, I want to say this, please have Echo meet her there somehow, some way. I feel like their story was so rushed at the end of Season 2, and so we missed out on the payoff we could have had after Echo's experience in the alternate timeline and saving Jinx's life. I just feel like their story wasn't finished. And remember those Buhru Bilgewater coins we saw circulating in Zaun back in Arcane Season 1? Those coins, bearing the symbol of the deep sea and heavily associated with Bilgewater, establish a clear economic and likely criminal link between Zaun and Bilgewater within the Arcane narrative world. It's not a huge leap to imagine characters including someone as volatile and mobile as Jinx moving between these two chaotic port cities. Also, these two Bilgewater characters, Jules and Vern, in Arcane, supposedly had more of a story in the original script. Maybe they cut it to save it for the Bilgewater live action. It would be great to see their history that led them to Zaun from Bilgewater. And perhaps after the events of Arcane, Jules and Vern had enough of this place, decide to head back to Bilgewater, and Jinx gets a ride. I really think Jinx at the beginning of Arcane as a child saying,
"One day, I'm gonna ride in one of those things,"
is some serious foreshadowing. But beyond potentially featuring Jinx, what core Bilgewater sagas could the live-action series tackle? 1. The Burning Tides, which is the iconic clash between Misfortune and Gangplank, fundamentally reshaping the city's power structure, prime material for a season-long arc. There's Shadow and Fortune, which is incorporating the Harrowing and the Shadow Isles threat, perhaps bringing in characters like Lucian, Thresh, and Viego for guest arcs. Lucian is a character from Demacia, so similar to how we saw characters from Noxus appear in Piltover and Zaun, it'd be cool to see a Demacian character show up in Bilgewater. He also has massive ties to the Sentinels of Light, who have massive ties to the Blessed Isles, which are now the Shadow Isles. We could explore the city itself, the bounty board, and meet characters like Twisted Fate and Graves. And we have to explore the Buhru people. Exploring Alawi's religion, her role in the city, and the terrifying power of her god Nagakaboros. I mean, in the current lore, all the time, people get tested by Nagakaboros and, if found unworthy, die or get very close to death.
Brothers and sisters, a new enemy has risen in Bilgewater. The goddess Nagakaboros has shown him to me.
Reveal him to us, truth-bearer.
This Blood Harbor Ripper butchers men in their homes and in the streets. I can sense the fear, the stagnation he brings. We honor the Mother Serpent by restoring motion and driving him out.
Praise the goddess.
Truth-bearer, I wish to fight for you. I am ready.
Are you? If you fight with everything you have, the Mother Serpent may name you worthy. If not, she will take your life.
I surrender to her will.
Unworthy.
He is strong, priestess. He may live.
Perhaps, if the goddess wills it. Come, our enemy awaits.
So the Buhru people, Nagapuros, Alawi is something that I would definitely want to explore in the series. Also, last thing, I do think they are working in tandem on another animated series with Fortiche, crossing Noxus and Ionia or possibly Demacia. I do have videos covering what those stories would look like. Feel free to check those out if you have not already. I am going to create a similar video for Bilgewater for those interested in the lore and what I think the story could look like. So wrapping it all up, while the incredible journey of Arcane Season 1 and 2 might be complete, the Runeterra story is far from over. A live-action Bilgewater series is currently the frontrunner for Riot's next big screen adventure, and I do think we'll get another animated series from Fortiche, similar to Arcane. But what are your thoughts? Are you ready for a live-action dive into Bilgewater? Do you think Jinx could realistically show up there? Which Bilgewater champion are you most desperate to see adapted? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for future Runeterra lore videos. If you really want to go above and beyond, sharing the video really does go a long way. Massive shout out to those who joined the channel. It means a lot to me. Thanks for stopping by the Grove, and I will see you in the next one.